up, everybody? Look at you. Oh my God. So worth the wait.
I had to break out my Jedi robes for our debate
So
tonight.
worth. Oh my God, dude. And your setup behind you.
Yeah, you
Holy
like?
shit.
This is the cockpit door to the Millennium Falcon. I have my armory behind me. If I can zoom up like that.
Oh,
Why isn't
oh
my
my
camera
God.
working? There we go.
See, I have lightsabers like that, which I intend to put up like this behind me, but I mean, they're right now in my storage shed. But shit, that
Oh,
looks
wait a minute.
awesome.
I'm using the wrong damn camera. Hang on.
Okay.
There we go. Wait, hang on. Now I was like, why isn't it zooming and focus? There we go.
Oh, see, that's a nice camera.
Yeah, this is one of the new ones I've got for the court.
Holy shit. That is dope. You got a cool ass setup.
My wife was kind enough to let me turn our family room into my Star Wars room. So yeah,
That
I
is
got this.
so awesome.
And if you saw me on Ozzy's 24-hour stream, I think you saw the Millennium Falcon cockpit behind me as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just that is so cool. What's up, chat? How's everybody doing? You know, obviously tonight we're talking Star Wars. And Dave, wow, you really pulled out the stops, and I thought I was cool with my braids being all rolled up. But you came in swinging. Right now we got Bobby Bologna, Late and Rainbow. It was worth it. Flux, it's like the flux bonding. You know how it's like a metal powder that you use to like bond stuff together. That's where I actually got my name from because it's my D&D name. So I added the extra X because it's D&D. No, Mrs. Flux will not be on tonight. That's like a once a month thing for her. And
oh yes, I did compliment you on your buns.
It is difficult. It is not easy, and I could have made them so much better, but I did not think they would be so hard to accomplish. But thank you. Yes, and where was it? I saw it in the chat. I think it was, I don't know, but somebody called it. Somebody called me having my braids up.
Well, Iris said awesome hair, Flux. I see that in the chat.
Ah, thank you. Jonah says, I wonder if he's a Star Wars fan.
Not really, not much. You know, I just watch it every now and again.
You know, and it makes your movie choices all the more confusing to me.
Yeah, my ranking, you mean?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. LOL, Star Wars is just a fairy tale in space. Save the Princess story with Obi, aka Space Merlin. Yeah, but that's what made it good. That's what made it amazing. Was that? I mean, it was legit a fairy tale that was reimagined. Like Princess in Space. I mean, come on. Who would not want to be a princess in space?
Yeah, right. It's a great. I mean, but it's the hero's journey with Luke. It's, you know, there's it's the damsel in distress, but can also shoot a blaster. It's a lot of the classic.
Right.
It's a lot of the classic storytelling, just in space. And that's what makes Star Wars awesome.
Hollywood, we use 1 to 2 hairstylists to make those braids in a timely fashion. One if we are in a hurry. And see the fact that you. I would like to talk to you on a stream because I love film, and growing up in the OC, you know, obviously, you know, had a I don't want to say I had a crazy stage mom, but I had a stage mom that was like, do all this stuff in LA and Hollywood, and it was fun. I enjoyed it because it exposed me to like, I really love set design. Like, if I could do anything, I think I would go into set design because the fact that you can just take a piece of paper and turn it into something like you literally transform an entire place, and you can, you know, make people go from, you know, planet Earth to literal space. It is awesome.
Yeah, Adam from MythBusters. What is it? Is it Adam Savage? No, what's his name?
Adam Sandler, wrong one.
No, not Sandler. Savage. I can't remember his name. From MythBusters. He's got a YouTube channel where he talks about a lot of that stuff, and he goes into the model making kits and stuff that he used to do for movies, and all that stuff is really cool.
Yeah, because I did a lot of like background work and like, all the kid background and kid modeling and all of that stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah, Adam Savage.
The actual green screen is the bane of my existence. Oh my god. The green screen was the death of true cinema.
But have you seen what they're doing with shows like The Mandalorian?
I did not watch the recent season because I heard it was trash.
It's okay. But
it's not even about Mando anymore.
Well, okay. That aside, what I mean is the production, what they do, the stage that they have, that they film it on. It's a giant, like 180-degree LED screen, and the background moves with the actors and the cameras and stuff, and so they can put them literally anywhere. Yeah, that's very cool.
I've seen that, and still don't like it. Nope. I miss when like movies were pretty much just theater filmed. Like, all you should need is
practical effects.
Yeah. Like, I get it. Some effects are fun. Some effects are cool. Some effects are needed. Hence, Star Wars would not be the amazing film it is without the special effects and some CGI and whatnot. I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm just saying to the extent that they use it these days is utterly depressing. So, I think we should talk about your list because the parameters.
Do you have a graphics to put up?
I did not. Well, actually, I could. Hold on.
No, I was just wondering.
I don't have any on hand, but I could pull them up. Name your worst one.
Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace is the worst.
You're wrong.
Now, mind you, I grew up watching the original 3. Mm-hmm. And then in 97, 96, 97, 98, somewhere with the remakes, the remasters, okay, they were all right. They did some stuff I didn't like. And then the trilogy or the prequels came out, and I was really excited, and I watched Phantom Menace. Not a huge fan of it because I don't think it accomplishes a lot. And it kind of goes to why I think all Star Wars is good Star Wars and why some of the things that people don't like in Disney is still good. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know Phantom Menace is the absolute worst.
I have to disagree. One, because all 3 of the new ones are on the bottom. That just hands down. They're a rehash of old stories. It's like you just took the old Star Wars and you redid it in a different way.
Okay.
And it's just 100% member berries. Did you see that?
Counterpoint.
Okay.
Everyone who says The Force Awakens is retreading A New Hope, did you forget that in Return of the Jedi, they literally did the same plot point with the same freaking Death Star and everything? They retreaded the entire thing. That's in the original 3, people.
But
the original 3 retreaded the story.
That's the original story. That is canon. That is what happened. To come, 20 years later and say
The Force Awakens is canon.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. Well, that's what I'm saying. The Force Awakens is canon, whereas the new 3, they're not. And so the fact that they're just rehashing the old stories is stupid. Versus in The Force Awakens, the fact that they rehashed it, it's canon. It's part of the original OG. So that was kind of like they tried to blow it up, they failed. They tried, they did it. Like I think it's more of along the lines of you try, you almost succeed, but then you didn't. So you do have to try harder. And they come back and they try harder. No, Darth Vader changed in the end. It was about Anakin coming back and choosing his. Yes, that too. It is
What?
not the same plot point because clearly in the first one, Vader's like, fuck all of this shit. And by the end, he's like, yeah, no, these are kind of my kids. I kind of used to be good. Maybe I should kind of go back and like try and right my wrongs here in the end. And it's about that redemption.
No. That was all the way through. Even that was even in A New Hope, because if you remember, Darth Vader was talking to the Emperor in A New Hope, and he said, well, maybe instead of me killing him, I can just turn him. That was in The New Hope, so that was already in episode 1.
See, but I think still
Or
there
4,
you see that progression. Like you see that character change and growth from Vader, where he's still not full evil. He never was really, I think, full evil.
So can we talk about the how this debate started? My first statement that you were like absolutely no to is that all Star Wars is good Star Wars.
No.
All Star Wars is good Star
No.
Wars.
No.
See, you disagree with it.
No, because look at what they did to Luke Skywalker's character.
It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that it's bad Star Wars, right?
Yes,
Star Wars is about the canon. It's about the universe. It's about these things that exist. And some of my best, actually, and I'll tell you right now, my number 1 ranked movie is Rogue One, and the reason is because it does a good job at world building. How does the Empire actually operate? What are these other planets going on? Remember, the original 3 focus on essentially one planet in the Death Star and nothing else. There's not a lot of world building. While the prequels do a lot of world building, it's very narrowly focused to the rise of the Empire. There's not still a lot of other stories being told. Who are these other people that exist in this reality? Because I am not Luke Skywalker, I'm not Obi-Wan, I'm not going to be, but I could exist as something else. Star Wars needs lawyers too. So I like the idea of the world building of everyday people, and that's why Rogue One is my favorite show or my favorite movie. And Andor, if you haven't watched Andor, is my favorite show because it does a lot of normal people doing extraordinary things, which is all that A New Hope was about. Normal people. Luke Skywalker, normal person doing extraordinary things.
But he wasn't a normal person. He was literally the son of Darth Vader.
You didn't know that in A New Hope, but you still loved it.
But that's what made it good, is that he is this seemingly unimportant person. But come to find out, he's actually kind of like a big deal and like kind of the son of the main villain and the brother of a princess and all of that stuff.
Why is it okay for Luke though and not Rey?
Because the story was already done. We don't need a girl boss version.
So you think it was just pandering?
Yes, 100%. It was just a pandering to get today. Hold on. Captain Have Fun said it way back, but he said it better. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Yes, because Captain Have Fun is kind of a big deal. Being a Hollywood Oscar winner and now like my dude. That's kind of neat. That's kind of like a sick flex. Sick flex, dude. That's really cool. I think the new Star Wars movie was greedy cash grab to grab as many girls into Star Wars as boys, but most boys don't want to pretend to. And this is the new ones, 100% geared towards girls to try and get girls into this version of Star Wars. 100%.
Andor's not. It's not geared towards women at all. The TV show, Mandalorian, except for Baby Yoda, but everyone loves Baby Yoda.
Well, The Mandalorian didn't start out that way, but it is now because now it's all about girl boss Mando, whatever her name is.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's about the Mandalorian people, really.
But that's not what. Like, so how it was initially done is like, oh, it's Mando and about him and his journey with this thing.
And like that's what movie of the week.
Huh?
sort of thing. It was very much. It began with like this is going to be our little escapade of the week between, what do they call it? Mando and Baby Yoda. There's a trope for it. I can't remember what it's called. And they would have like little adventures every week, and it was very kind of sitcom-y or story of the week kind of thing, and that was fine. But I really came into its own in the second season, which was more of the world building, and that's where God, I can't remember her name, the Mandalorian, but she has her roots in
Boca Raton.
Boca Raton.
Don't
yes,
ask me why that just popped into my head. I'm still a nerd at heart. What can I say?
But that she has her roots in Clone Wars, the series Clone Wars. So it's not like she just came out of nowhere. And the same thing with Ahsoka Tano. She is again has her roots in the Clone Wars and stuff. So these aren't.
I would not mind them at all as like having their stories come in and like be woven in and out, but to have them be fully like now the show be fully geared towards, you know, these characters, it's like, oh well, you know, I wanted to watch Mando. I didn't want to watch all these other people and girl bosses.
When I watched Boba Fett, I wanted to watch Boba Fett, not Mando, you know, season 2.1.
That's
so
fair.
You know,
see, and that's why they're not as good.
Okay, but I'm not saying there's not bad episodes or bad season or shows or bad movies. My point is that all Star Wars at the end of the day is still freaking Star Wars, and it's
yeah,
awesome.
but just because you put on a dress and makeup and call yourself a woman, that doesn't make you a woman. Just because you put the title of Star Wars on it, and you put a character wielding the Force, that don't make it Star Wars.
You know, Bobby Bologna. Rey doesn't have any growth. She's just handed the Force powers, no training. Just hey, look at you, you're special because you struggle. Okay, so let me talk about Rey. Rey, first of all, she grew up on a planet. Everyone talks about her ability to fight. Okay, well, she's growing up on a planet essentially as an orphan. It doesn't look like the nicest of planets. She's probably had to fight in the past. All right, so let's just get that out of the way. Second, her struggle, her growth is overcoming this abandonment issues, right? So when you start off, she's constantly looking into the sky. You know she's looking for her parents who abandoned her there. She immediately gloms on to Han Solo as a father figure. She takes it very hard when he dies. She looks at other people. She looks at Leia for a mother figure. And it's not until the end that she realizes that she can do this on her own. If you remember the last scene of Rey, in the very last movie, she's walking away on her own. That is her growth. That's her growth. It really is. I mean, we could get into all the, you know, the little details and stuff, but that's really her growth arc throughout the entire show or series. She has growth. She has a character arc. You might not like it. You might think it's a retread of
I think she's a whiny baby. They got given her.
She's not a Mary Sue either. And if you say she's a Mary Sue, you're completely
wrong.
What's
a Mary Sue?
A Mary Sue is a is a person or a character, typically a female character, but that's the origin of the story, who is so overpowered it sort of defines the reality set forth in the story. And it comes from a Star Trek fan fiction where this woman wrote a story about Captain Mary Sue, who was just so competent. She had no flaws whatsoever. And so Mary Sue is essentially a character that has no flaws. And not everyone, but a lot of people are saying Rey was a Mary Sue because she had all these powers. She was able to do things that are unexplained, but she's not because she is flawed. No, she is flawed. She's not a Mary Sue. She has insecurity. She doesn't know what she's doing. She immediately goes to the dark side when she's with Luke. She has flaws. So she's not a Mary Sue.
I just see, and that's the thing. The fact that she immediately goes to the dark side and then immediately it's like,
well, she's a woman, so she's back and forth, you know.
Exactly, which is why they don't need to be given stories because it's stupid. We don't want to hear about this. We want to hear about the cool dude who sucked it up and put Yoda on his back and slogged through the slushy, like nasty shit to train as a Jedi, to put in the work and really understand the Force.
I will say Oh, my list went away. I was going to pull up my list again because I tweeted it at you, and then I didn't save like a ready version of it. But I will say,
How did she beat Kylo? Because she used her boobies and her
no.
feminine wiles.
Okay, so remember, Kylo wasn't trying to kill her. Kylo,
Why? What?
because he
Any bad guy in Star Wars would try and kill you, unless it
no,
was your dad or somebody who was trying to bang you.
no, he was trying to capture her because he was trying to locate first in the first movie, in the Force Awakens. He was trying to capture her to learn the location of the map, right, to Luke
Mm-hmm.
Skywalker. So he didn't want to kill her because she knew the information. And then in the second one, he was like, "Oh, she's strong. Maybe I can use her to overthrow Snoke," and that's what she did, or he did. So he doesn't want to kill her. Much like, how about think of the first battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader? There's no way that Luke should have not been just decapitated right away and Darth Vader walk away, right? He didn't want to kill him either.
But
So
that
when
was
you talk
his
about these
son.
yeah, but Kylo didn't. He needed information out of her first, and then he wanted to use her second. So you don't kill a resource.
Mm.
It was never an attempt to kill.
Really quick, Rosalind Duke, I don't know how to become a member, so here's a tip for your excellent buns, hun. Oh, well, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I appreciate it. For membership, I think you hit like it's the same button as super chat, right?
Yes, but it's there's an issue with it on the phone. You need to actually go into a browser, either on your computer or on your phone. You can't do the app.
Don't you love
So
YouTube?
why not? Why just allow it on the app, YouTube?
Right. Thank
YouTube
you
is
so
my
much
friend.
for that, Rosalind. And you are an honorary Mocha Dick. How about that? I'll make you an honorary Mocha Dick for now. Give us another Luke Skywalker half naked, please.
Give us another Luke Skywalker half naked. Oh, when he was running through the forest, he wasn't half naked. He was wearing a tank top.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was. I mean, he had his bare arms out.
Yeah,
you know. So,
but he had the skin tight wife beater, and he was running through. He was kind of sweaty, so you could see everything on Dagobah.
So, like, it was it was pleasing to the fans, the women fans. So, like, you still had that element of ladies being like, "Ooh, Luke Skywalker. Ooh, Han Solo."
So, and then they dress, Rey in all these baggy clothes. It's just not the same. No, but we did have the
Twi'lek. You know it. That's how you know it. Huh?
Sorry. I said we did have the Twi'lek in Jabba's palace, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. See, that was good. You know it's a girl boss movie when the main character is a girl, has all the powers without working for it, and is covered clothing head to toe so you can't sexualize her.
Yeah, but you still do because it's the personality that gets to me. I'm a personality kind of guy.
Yeah.
See, but were you able to watch Rogue One? Because I know you haven't seen it.
No. See, okay, and I wasn't going to, but my buddy at work who's a super nerd like us, he said it was actually good, and I trust him. I saw your list, and I didn't trust you. So once he said
I'm not going to give you any spoilers.
Okay.
But let me tell you why. Oh, no, what did he say? Yeah, what did he say?
He said that it's very well done, and it ends directly into New Hope.
Oh, it does. Every time I watch it, even if I don't want to watch New Hope or I don't have time to, I immediately turn it on and go straight into New Hope.
Nice.
But because literally, like, you could play one right after the second without any cut, and it'll go right in.
Nice.
But so the story is, if you remember A New Hope, they say our rebel spies were able to gain the data from the Death Star so that we can figure out maybe a way to destroy it, and that's the very first battle. Is they're trying to get that data that's then placed in R2D2, then lands on then Tatooine, and Luke Skywalker gets involved. Well, it's the story of how that data was gathered and why that data was gathered. And I actually read the book that accompanies the movie prior. It covers the timeline before the movie and takes you right up to the start of the movie. And that is, you don't need it, but it's very good. And it gives, again, it's more world building. It's like, well, how was the Death Star built? what are all the components and the people involved and the alien species involved and what's going on, and it's powered by the kyber crystals. Where'd you get the kyber crystals? I love the world building, and that's why Rogue One is my favorite. Plus it's just a really good story. Again, normal people doing extraordinary things, just like Luke Skywalker. You didn't know he had magical powers at the beginning.
He didn't. He had to work hard for them.
Oh, so Stefan, someone else. Yeah, Rogue One, my favorite Star Wars. Rogue One is absolutely amazing. And so I was going to buy a new vehicle a couple of years ago, and I literally wanted to buy a Nissan Rogue just so I can put a little one after it and drive around in a freaking Rogue One. I almost
You're such
did that.
a nerd.
Well, then I got
That's
a better
awesome.
deal with a Ford, so I went.
Oh, nice.
So how many Star Wars have they made? Oh, sorry.
Really quick, I have a 1 month member chat from Snafu, a 1 month of the Mokadex. They stole the storylines, Kyle Karnan and Jan Ors. I don't know what that story is.
Oh, let me pull up the chat. Let me on YouTube so I can see the super chat or the member chat.
I pulled
they
it
stole
up.
the storylines, Kyle Karnan and Jan Ors. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who those people are.
Sorry.
Maybe you can and then Ford screwed you.
Yes, I have been bashing. It's not Ford itself. It's one particular dealership, Brighton Ford. You guys suck.
Sorry. Oh, man.
Sorry to do that on your show. I had to.
No, that's all right. Hey, I have a 2000 Ford Ranger, so I love my truck. His name is Bruce.
Bruce?
Yep.
I have a Jeep Wrangler named Rocky.
Oh, nice.
I haven't named the other vehicle yet.
Captain Have Fun is my newest member. He is our newest Mocha Dick. What's up? Thank you. Did you know that a Mocha Dick, back in the whaling days, it was a large male sperm whale? They referred to as the Mocha Dick. So thank you. It's educational, so YouTube can't get mad at me. It is a real term used in the whaling days. Thank you for becoming my newest Mocha Dick. I need to see how many members I have. I don't know how to check that, but I think I got a few of you now.
If you go, pretty awesome. If you go to customize channel and then you go to monetization and then you can click on your members and then you can.
Okay, I'll have to check that out after this. But yeah, Fords or rust buckets, 100%. I don't know. I got the truck a year ago or so, and it's a 2000. But this thing actually, it's not rusted out. It's pretty nice, and I'm like,
they're not like they used to be.
Yeah,
they're not rust buckets. My brother actually works in the paint department. He's a manager of the paint operations for Ford, and so they've done a lot of work on that. One of the biggest problems is engineers with the rusting out. I don't care what car you have, the engineers, because they dip these cars in a rust coating. And if they don't engineer these unibody frames in a way where the paint and can actually get inside and coat it properly, then that's where you get the rust. So it 100% comes down to the engineers. It's not the paint. It's not the rust protection.
A lot of it is also because of the salt from the roads in the winter. If you don't properly clean the undercarriage of your vehicle, that's why you got to properly clean your undercarriage, people. It's it'll keep you from rusting out. Yup.
I gotta start reading Snafu's chats. All right, it's actually Star Wars lore, not the fake. Sorry, I'll read it to myself.
No, I think Snafu doesn't like Star Wars. I think earlier I saw Snafu say that Star Wars was terrible or something, and I saw it, but I chose to ignore it, Snafu, because Star Wars is not terrible. But
well, let me ask you this. So I gave you my first and my last. What are yours? Your worst and your best?
My first? I like, with as corny as it is, I really like A New Hope. The first one, it's just so epic. Like, and I'm not just like overall epically, like between the film shots, like of Vader first coming down the hall, like with that score and that shot, like that was just a epic moment in film history, in my opinion, because like you will never like you'll have to just recreate that moment over and over because like that moment was so epic on the big screen. There are certain moments like that where it's just the introduction of a character is so powerful that like I think it just sets you up for a perfect movie. I'm not saying it is a perfect movie, but I'm saying it gives you just that much more of a great foundation when you have like this moment where it's just like this moment of like holy shit, like that is the bad guy, that is the bad guy. And I thought it was so well done.
Darth Vader absolutely is the best villain in cinema history. I hands
Mm.
down. Um,
But yeah.
oh, I see what they were getting at. Dune is better than Star Wars. I won't want to agree,
Ah.
but yes, there were definitely elements of Dune that were taken for Star Wars. I will agree to that. I just
Mm-hmm.
see Eric's comment there.
But exactly, like you automatically knew he was bad. Like you just like especially as a kid because I don't know, I think the first time I saw it, I don't know, it was probably like 8 or something. It was really young,
Yeah.
but I was like, "Oh, that moment I was just like Vader." Like he was the ultimate bad guy in my opinion. Of all bad guys of every movie, like you said, I just think he's one of the most complex and well done villains in film history, in my opinion.
Would you agree with me that the prequels kind of ruined that?
No.
No.
See, and here's the thing. I look at the prequels or the prequels and
Have you watched? By the way, have you watched Obi-Wan, the series?
no, I have not.
Oh my god, you and me need to like watch some movies and shows together. Um,
See, I don't have any time. I'm watching you guys all the time.
for me, the prequels, Hayden Christensen's the love story,
That was bad. I see,
it
and I have
kind of ruined it.
yeah, I see, and I have to remove Hayden Christensen from my mind in that role. Like when I look back, I just got to replace like it with a shadowy figure, and then it's all good, and then the movie's perfect. Not really, but yeah, I think when they brought in, I think what is that one? I'm blanking. The fifth movie, technically, the second one.
Oh, Attack of the Clones.
Yes,
Yeah.
where Hayden Christensen comes in. That is the worst one, in my opinion. Attack of the
Uh,
Clones is the worst film, in my opinion. Nope, just kidding. Like I said, the three new ones are the worst. I don't even count
no, no,
the
no.
three
You
new
said it. You
ones.
said it. It's on record.
That's how bad they are. I don't even count the three new ones because they're stupid and they're remakes to make girls like them. So I don't count, I only count the original six.
The reason I
Like,
don't like the prequels is because of the CGI and
yeah, it's
the
so
hate
bad.
and the love story. That's why I put them
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom. I don't hate them; they're just at the bottom. I fast forward through some scenes, whereas the newer ones, 7, 8, 9, they have practical effects. Like the Force Awakens, that first opening shot in the Force Awakens is amazing when they're
Mm.
landing and the stormtroopers are coming out. All of that's amazing. I love the practical effects of that, and so that's why they're higher on my list. And to some extent, it does some more world building, but they're not as good as the original. By the way,
Mm.
under Rogue One is Empire Strikes Back, and then A New Hope, and then Return of the Jedi. So those are my top Star Wars. But
I just
I
can't
have
believe you have Rogue One on there.
you haven't seen it yet, so you can't judge me.
That's fair. That's fair, but I can mostly judge you.
You can mostly judge me. I'm fine with that.
Real quick, Wolfram gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Wolfram. You are the dude. You are my dude. Let's see.
Wolfram is
Eric
awesome.
Foams, Tweety News, Sadie, Mike L, Adam, uh, Alicia, Brad, Excited Utterance, Robert Taylor, and It's Me, Josie. Congratulations. You guys are now my newest Mocha Dicks. You didn't even get a choice. You're now my Mocha Dicks by force. I love it. I love it. Welcome to the club, guys. It's awesome.
Be careful saying you're my mocha dick by choice. I don't know if we could get away with that in the real world, right?
Well, see, and that's the thing. It's a mocha dick is a male sperm whale. So they're all just, male sperm whales. And in today's day and age, you can be whatever the hell you want to be. So tell me I'm wrong.
No. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just, I would love to say that in front of a bunch of cackling hens or something in the real world.
It would be so fun. Yeah, but see, right? I can get away with it because I'm a girl.
You can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Than I can. I'm straight white male. I can't say anything.
Yeah, you're kind of SOL there. I at least have the woman card and the lesbian card I can play. So I have like a little bit of protection when it comes to saying shit.
Have you...
Go ahead.
Obi-Wan, let's see. It destroys A New Hope. No, I don't think it destroys Leia. Now, there's some parts of Obi-Wan, the series, that you're like, okay. You might have to suspend your disbelief for a little bit, but all the movies do that, and every movie does that. Period. I don't care what you say. But it explains a lot regarding Leia's background. It explains why she went to Obi-Wan in A New Hope. It has, and what I was getting at was, if you don't like Hayden Christensen, but you love Darth Vader, I feel like the whole series, you got to watch the whole series, but Obi-Wan, especially the last episode, for me, it sort of put them together. I liked it a lot. And it made it work. So now I can watch Hayden Christensen a little bit easier in the prequels.
See, and for me, I think because those movies did come out when I was younger, like, I always looked at them in high regard, but then I went back and rewatched them, 10 or 15 years ago. I'm like, wow, these movies are shit. And then I just kept rewatching them, and I'm like, now they're just over the top campy pieces of mess that I love. It's kind of like...
You're talking about the prequels?
Yeah, I'm talking like with Phantom Menace, that is just so over the top and campy, and like what the bad guy Darth Maul is just like, what a ripoff.
He has like one line or something,
and like his spikes are literally like hot glued to his head, and you can see it, and it's just like, for me, that was so bad it was good.
Yeah, it was bad, and I think they knew they screwed up because they brought him back in the one of the animated shows. They brought Darth Maul back somehow, miraculously,
even though it was cut in half.
Well, the Emperor died and was brought back. Darth Maul was cut in half. Apparently, if you're a Sith, you can, be disintegrated and still come back.
I mean, man, the dark side really must be like the place to be, because that can bring you back to life.
Well, Dark Plagueis had, a way to bring people back from the dead.
Well, and then you had what's his name from
Grievous,
who was like a bionic.
Yeah, his backstory is really, but see, that's the thing I like about Star Wars is that, okay, so you see General Grievous is it Clone Wars? I can't remember which one he's in.
I think he first appears in Clone Wars.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, that's kind of, is he just a droid? What's going on there? He's got a heart. And then, so I actually read a book about him and his whole backstory, and it's really interesting. I don't remember all the details, but he was at one point like human. He was kind of an insect kind of creature. But so the world building and all these backstories is why I like Disney Star Wars. And it's not because it's Disney, it's because they're doing stuff that takes you further into the world building. But let's explore the Mandalorians more. Let's explore these other areas, and they started with the Mandalorian, Boba Fett, big name characters, but then Andor, the show
Hmm.
Andor, was really amazing for so many different reasons. But again, the ordinary person living their life out in this universe and what they can accomplish.
Hmm.
That's what I really liked about it.
Yeah,
And
but
Solo did that too. Actually, the movie Solo. Have you seen Solo?
I saw like 20 minutes of it, and then I'm like, yeah, I got better things to do.
It's not the best. I'm not saying it's the best. It's in the middle of my row. It's above the prequels for me, but it's again, it's world building. It's expanding when you have characters that are the sort of the mafia running around and doing stuff, kind of sort of on behalf of the empire, but not really. But the empire doesn't care. All of that
Hmm.
stuff is interesting.
See, and I watched an interesting video today, and it was talking about because I don't. Are you big into The Witcher at all? Did you ever get into that?
No.
Okay, so The Witcher was books first, and then it was a video game, and then Netflix, adapted it
Yeah,
into the Netflix The Witcher,
I've heard of it.
which,
Yeah, I haven't seen it though.
yeah, like Henry Cavill, which he is he is the one and only dude. I would have his babies. I would climb that man like a tree. But that's besides the
We learned
point.
something new about Flux today.
Yep. He is a gorgeous man. Um, but he is a true nerd. Like he is a true video game nerd that plays Dungeons and Dragons and builds his own computers and is like on our nerd level status. And so when he came out and was like, I'm gonna play Geralt, for me, I was like, yes, please. I could totally see it. I was so down from the beginning. Um, but they made it shit. They they took it and they turned it into girl boss story. And Henry Cavill is not the third. This is the third season, and everybody considers it to be the final season because Henry Cavill is no longer on The Witcher because the showrunners they changed everything. They didn't want the male like Witcher strong dude. They were having like all the girl bosses and diversity, and it's like, okay, well, this is supposed to take place in like Europe, and there wasn't a lot of diversity back in Europe. Like, that's
Well,
not how things worked back then. And I get it. It's a fictional world, but like
is it
it's
set
set
in a particular time, or is it more fantasy?
it's definitely fantasy, but it's like way, I guess you would consider it like, it medieval dungeons, dragons, towers, castles in
Like if you're
Europe.
if you're watching, or if you watched Game of Thrones,
Mhm.
or you're watching the new series, uh, the prequel to it. I can't remember the name.
Mhm.
It, if you're watching that, there are blonde-haired African Americans in that
Mm.
show. Now, it takes place in medieval fantasy time, right? Well, it's a whole different world. It doesn't exist on Earth, but still, you can rewrite it if it's fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with
Well,
that as
see.
long as it's justified. I don't like let's take Captain Marvel as an
Mhm.
example of a Mary Sue. Actually, she's so like powerful,
Mhm.
nothing can stop her.
Yep.
Once they remove like this little inhibitor thing on her neck,
Yep.
she's absolutely a Mary Sue, and there's no justification for it. She has no flaws. She's smarmy. She's cocky, without any rhyme or reason to it. And that's a horrible storyline to have. Or even getting going back on Marvel with the Hawk, or She Hawk rather, Lady Lawyer or whatever the hell it's called. Again, she is almost infallible, and it's unjustified, and it's sort of this: women are perfect and should be propped up on pedestals and can do nothing wrong sort of mentality.
Mm.
I don't like that. But in the
Yeah.
Star Wars context, I don't see that I don't see that portrayed. And I know a lot of people are saying in Star Wars that we have we're going that way. We're going to, we're going to do diversity for the sake of diversity without supporting the story at all. But I don't think you get that with Rey. I don't think you get that with Ahsoka Tano. I don't think you get that with
Well, I
um,
mean, it's just like with Bo-Katan, I was just like after the whole what was it, second season where she was like, the black saber is mine, and she's just like entitled to it, and I was like, bitch, no, like you don't just get it handed to you, and you can't just be like, ooh, like
it
no,
was a very
bitch.
Kardashian thing for her to do. I get that,
It's just
but
like no, that's not how stuff works in real life. Like that's like I don't know. That's just it's girl boss behavior, and it really especially for like for the us nerds, and especially it's for girl nerds. I think we judge female girl bosses even harder because it's like nobody likes this shit to include us, and it's giving us as women a worse name. Like, knock it off with this, like, oh, we have to have all these like female star roles, and like we have to rewrite these stories and essentially put females in them. Like, no, we don't need to do that.
I agree. We don't need to change roles, gender roles, for the sake of changing a gender role. We don't need to change races of people when it's not historically accurate or just for the sake of changing it. Why do we have a Black Little Mermaid and Ariel? Just because that's not enough um, for me, because it doesn't make sense. However, I will say I like strong women. My wife is very strong, not necessarily physically, but strong minded. And I like that.
Well,
And I like that in my female characters. And I have no problem with
mhm.
that as long as it fits the story.
Yeah, see, and like I agree with that. I love a good strong female role. However, not when that's like clearly the main point of the story is that this is a strong female character. Like because I this is going to
Do
be a
you get that
terrible
with the sequels? With Ray?
with
Do you get that the point
yes.
is a strong female character?
Yep. A strong female character that girls today can relate to get into that genre. That is exactly what Ray screams to me.
Okay.
Because see, and this is going to be a terrible example and super cheesy and corny and all of that. Have you ever seen the movie Seven Brides for Seven Brothers?
I have not, and I don't know that I ever will, but
You probably won't. It's a movie I probably, God, what was it, the 1960s, maybe before then. I don't know. It's an old movie back when like their special effects was like a miniature version of something where they put like fake little minis and tried to
okay.
replicate an avalanche or something. um but the female character in that, like, it's about this dude
Oh,
who
it's
he
from the
goes to town.
1950s or 60s?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
then I probably watch it.
he goes to town and he's like, I need to find me a wife. And they're like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. And he finds himself a wife. And while, like, yeah, she immediately marries him, but the movie takes place in like the settling times when, like, the men needed to settle the land, and there were like
Woman
two
knew her place
women.
in the kitchen.
Yeah, their place was in the kitchen and on the farm, and so she marries him and he brings her home, and he's got like six other brothers that live with him, and he expects her to just like cook and clean for them. And she's like, she is able to be like, yeah, I'm gonna cook and clean for you, but you guys are gonna do your part. Like, she's a girl boss without being a girl boss. Like, she whips all seven men into shape without, like, it. That's being a girl boss, not like this automatic. You're automatically OP with all these extra stats, and the focus has to be you. And it's like, no, that's not
Let me ask you this. We're going to do hypothetical.
okay.
Instead of Ray, it's Ronald. It's a
Okay.
guy. The lines are the same. The story's the same. But it's Ron instead of Ray. Do you like the sequels? Does it change anything for you?
It actually would change a lot for me.
Really?
I think
See, I still
I think
think
I
the
might
sequels
like
are
it
still the
better.
sequels.
I think I might. Well, I'm talking about the newest three.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if it had a male character, because then it wouldn't feel like pandering. Again, a lot of it just feels like pandering to females, and it's just like enough of this we have to promote females.
I
Like,
feel like I'm doing the Obi-Wan thing. Are you seeing the pandering because you're looking for it?
no.
Okay.
It's also a rehash of the originals with a girl. And I think, again, if it was with a dude, I'm not saying it, I might like it better if it was a dude, but it would still just be a rehash of the original movies.
I do believe that there were a lot of faults with I call them the sequel series. Uh, the Last Jedi was absolutely
Mm-hmm.
horrible. It was designed to subvert expectations, and they did it in the worst way possible.
You think?
But destroying the character of Luke Skywalker was kind of a shit move. There are
Kind of
some
a big shit move.
the whole, and then just to spend so much time on that, I will say was absolutely pandering with what's her name, the purple haired captain uh, that sacrificed herself at the end, or the blue haired commander of the Rebel Alliance. That what's her name?
I only watched the new,
That
like,
whole movie you could delete, fine,
mm,
but there are some redeeming points, and that's why it's not necessarily on the lowest of my list. But yeah, that was absolutely pandering. And it was just written wrong, and it was very bad. But it's still
and
Star Wars.
no,
but
it's not. But
but
see,
take
and
that
that's the
out. I
reason.
don't. I think the story is a rehash, yes, um, to some extent, but no more than Return of the Jedi was a rehash of A New Hope. As far as like the big overarching plots. I mean, if you talk about specific characters, they move through the story just fine. It's the
Mhm.
big plots. There's a big spaceship laser planet instead of the Death Star thing destroying planets. There's a new world order that's come into play to replace the Empire. There's a lot of books and other stuff that explain all of that. Even Mandalorian explains a lot of that about how it's happening.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people complain, well, you shouldn't have extra things to explain these movies and whatever. I just like it. All Star Wars is good Star Wars at
See,
the end of the
but
day.
that I really loved the first season of Mando. I
Yeah.
thought the first season of Mando was really well done. Like, I thought that was such a neat story. But again, I liked following Mando. And I liked following his story with Grogu
Right.
or Baby Yoda.
Original characters, world building, new storylines. We weren't focused on Luke and Leia and that whole Skywalker saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was good storytelling.
No,
Um,
it and like I said, I loved it, but that's until they brought in a female boss character to overtake the show. And the showrunners have literally been in an interview saying, "Oh yeah, anybody can be a Mando. Anybody's Mando now." Well, that wasn't the point that was given to us at the start of this. At the start of this, you laid it out as XYZ. Now you're coming in and throwing in ABC, and that's not what we wanted.
yeah, I get that, but the idea behind the Mandalorian culture, if you look at what's now Legends, right? Because we had all this canon book and stuff that Disney was like, well, we're just going to stick that in the Legends. And I don't fault them for that either, because if I took ownership of a huge thing like that, I would be like, yeah, I kind of want to write my own stories, but we're not going to scrap these. We're just going to call them Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the Mandalorian culture is all about the culture, and foundlings and all this stuff is a thing in their
Mm-hmm.
culture, and it's been since the books back, in the '90s that came out.
Yeah,
So
But then they had to do the whole thing where, like, oh, yeah, Mandos take their helmets off. Well, that wasn't the lore. The lore was that the Mandos never took their helmets off. And now it's just, oh, yeah, fuck that. We're going to throw that by the wayside because, I don't know, we want to use these actors' faces, I guess, because we're paying them. We might as well show their faces. But
I
it's
don't
like,
know the timeline. When did Clone Wars, the animated series, when did that come out? Was that before
I
Disney
didn't
bought?
watch the animated series.
I didn't either. I'll just let you know. I didn't. I do watch clips of it on YouTube channels because sometimes I want the backstories of the characters, but I don't watch the cartoons. But did that come out when before Disney bought Lucasfilm? I believe it did, and I believe it was in that show that the Mandalorians started removing their helmets. So
That they did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, actually, the prequels. I mean, look at Jango Fett. He removed his helmet all the time.
But he wasn't a true Mando, though.
Yeah.
Like, he was and he wasn't. Like,
well, according to, if you watch season 2, when Boba Fett is found, they Jango, or not Jango.
No, you're right. Jango Fett stole the armor, right?
No, he didn't. They scanned it. They scanned the code on the armor, and it was Mandalorian, confirming that Boba Fett was actually and Jango Fett were actually Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I thought Boba Fett, or I thought the dad stole it, killed a Mando, stole it, and then passed it down to his son.
Not according to season 2 of The Mandalorian.
I thought that was what he said in season 2, and that they were like, "Oh, it's stolen armor," and that was the whole point why they were trying to kill him, right?
They thought it was stolen, and he said, "No, I'm actually Mandalorian." Well, how could you be Mandalorian? Because you took your helmet off and blah blah blah. You don't cover your face. And he's like, "Well, I am." And then they scanned the code and found out, okay, he is Mandalorian. So that means that Jango Fett was Mandalorian. If you go back to that.
We'll have to rewatch that
season 2, where they're where they first discover or they're taking Baby Yoda to that communication station.
Yeah. No, I know what you're. I'll have to rewatch it because I thought for sure, like, he had killed a Mando and taken it off of him and then passed it down to Bubba, who was not well, he was a clone of himself, but he called him his son. It was like, I'm gonna just take this clone and call it my son. Okay.
I would do that. If that was available, I would do that.
Oh fuck no, I would not handle myself as a child. Holy shit.
I have a little mini me.
Oh god.
I've seen Austin Powers.
See, and that's why I'm terrified to ever have, like, I'm gonna have kids one day, probably, maybe. But it's like, from what I remember, I was a terrible little child, I think.
Well, okay, so now thinking about it that way, maybe not.
Like, would you want an exact replica of yourself that you have to control, knowing what you're thinking?
Yeah, no, maybe not. But yeah, so even in traditional Lucasfilm, right, pre-Disney, the Mandalorians were taking their helmets off. And then I believe Clone Wars came out before Disney bought. And that too, they had Bo-Katan was not Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
was taking her helmet off. So
yeah. See, and that's like excuse me. And I think they had her take her helmet off because she is a female boss, and she is now what they have geared the show towards. So, because like, I thought, regardless, like, she takes her, like, I don't know, I think she took her helmet off because it wasn't a like storyline move or anything to do with that. I think it was a outside political, we have to show their faces, this is a female character.
Maybe. I mean, not in the show Mandalorian, but maybe in Clone Wars, where she first made her appearance. Yes, I could say that.
Well, because in
the show Mandalorian, she's already taken her helmet off numerous times in the Clone Wars. So why would she not take her helmet off?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like I wasn't sure if they were real Mandalorians because again, like the Mandalore.
Yeah.
And I thought they had merely just like adapted it.
I feel like it's more like the Amish and the Mennonites. Like the ones that are
Probably.
driving the cars and going to the
Yep.
amusement parks, they're Mennonites.
Yep.
And then actually I had a lovely conversation with a former Amish woman in a hot tub at a B&B. And
Oh.
so she had her Runspringa and decided not to go back. And so I was
God.
asking her, a lot of details about. Well,
Mm-hmm.
tell me about your religion and your social
I'm
structure and all that.
fascinated by it.
I know, I was too, and I was like, I sat with her like for an hour and a half just chit chatting, and she, so Mennonites are the original group,
Okay.
and then the Amish was a sect that broke off from them who wanted to be more strict Orthodox kind of.
Mm-hmm.
No, the world's getting too crazy. We need to slow ourselves down and not use any electricity and any mechanical anything, and became extremely strict. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
Amish. But the Mennonites are the vast majority of it, and they're the ones that use electricity and all that stuff.
Well,
So I thought that was interesting.
did you watch Breaking Amish?
I haven't seen this. I've seen
Oh,
clips of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but
oh God, it is so like if you want like trashy TV, like because it's trashy TV without the like I don't know how to describe it
at
because
the
it's
end of the
so
day, they're still Amish, right?
they're
So how
Amish.
trashy can
So
they
like
be?
they're all still like, and I'm sitting here thinking like these have to be actors, these have to be actors, but then you look at it, it's like they can't be because of how deep this religion goes. Like, and the show Breaking Amish actually, one of the like, God was one of the two like the groups isn't too far from where we are here in Maryland. Like they're just over the Pennsylvania line. And it's like, yeah, no, these are real people, and like, this is how they really live, and it's actually not too far away from like Baptist people, because I grew up, we were Baptist until I was about 13, and then like we changed over to a non-denomination Christian church. Where it's just like, you're just Christian, you just,
Right.
but I'm like, holy shit, like they are so much like Baptists. And I'm like, wow, we're just like 2 degrees away from the Amish. We just have electricity. But the whole like shunning thing, and it's like, it's intense.
The yeah, I don't know. I was raised Lutheran, so we're essentially Catholic light,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm fine with that. But there are some people that I don't know. It's sort of the shunning thing wasn't big in my particular church, but there are a lot of Catholics that do a lot of shunning, or not Catholics, Lutherans. I'm not a huge fan of that, but you
Yeah, it's
definitely
kind of
see
stupid.
that element with the Mandalorians. Um, and that's kind of what I was getting at, is that you have these different groups that think a little bit different from each other. Do
I
I
can,
dare put my list in your chat, by the way?
I mean, at this point, I think the people already know, so you should. That way people
Yeah.
can just see in writing that you were wrong.
First of all, I'm
Uh,
going to start with the premise again. All Star Wars is good Star Wars. Not all of it is the best, but I have my rankings.
oh
Let's see if I can get
man.
it out there. So, mind you, this is least. So, like the worst is on the top and the best is on the bottom. So we
See,
got
I'm
we got
already
that there.
mad at you by the fact that you like no. No. The Phantom Menace is not the worst. Uh it's not the worst. Like I said, I only count the original 6 because the other 3 are just that bad. So out of the original 6, 2 is the worst, or 5 Clone Wars, we'll call it. Uh
But you can't count them because they're part of canon. So you got to rate them. You gotta. You gotta rate
but
them. Maybe you just
I
could throw them at the bottom.
hate
That's
them
fine. You could do
so
like one lump
much.
sum. I don't
Okay,
hate
what?
them.
Okay, so then we'll just go. in order of appearance then. What is it? What's the one right after
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
That's the best.
No. The new ones. The new ones. How did
The Force Awakens,
Okay.
The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, those are the top worst 3 in that order.
See, the Last Jedi is pretty bad, but it has some saving elements.
I can't.
Okay, so how about the Luke and the Yoda conversation in The Last Jedi? I love that.
Yeah, well, I mean, anything, and that's the reason the original Star Wars are so good, is because they're full of that dialogue where Luke is learning and he has to understand and learn about, like, you know, balance and shit.
Yeah, but he walked away from the Force, so he didn't have the ability to commune with Yoda and learn further. But we see that more in The Last Jedi still.
But that's the thing, like he like gives up, but then he comes back. He's like, okay, no, I really got to try this shit. Right?
Oh, you mean, yeah, I mean, when he does the Force projection against Kylo Ren.
Wait, which one are we talking about?
The Last Jedi. The second one that you hate in the middle.
Yes.
So it starts off with this bullshit space attack thing, and then it goes to
I only saw I didn't see the very last one. I saw the 2, but I only saw them one time and I hated them, so I don't really remember them.
Did you watch Rise of Skywalker at all?
Yes.
The very last
I hated it.
movie.
Yeah, I hated it.
It was campy. It was probably just as campy as the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, but at least Phantom Menace now has what was that? Now
that was my dogs.
I was like, holy shit, that was loud.
Hang on one second.
No worries. So I think, I don't know, chat. You guys got to back me up here because, yeah, Kylo Loser Ren. Where did it go? I saw it in the YouTube chat. There we go. JD Buck. Yeah. But no, I think
Kylo Loser Ren. So Kylo Ren is Kylo Ren. He wants to be Darth Vader, right? Everyone has that. Okay, who's watching Ted Lasso? Did you watch Ted Lasso?
No, I don't know what that means.
Ted Lasso is it's a TV show. So they just finished up the season or series.
Is that the dude with what's his name and the mustache?
Yep.
Okay, I've heard of it.
Okay, so then if you haven't watched it, then you don't know Nate, the story of Nate, who starts off as a basically a towel boy, and then ends up being head coach of a rival team. He wants so bad to impress his father and be successful and do all this stuff. That's exactly Kylo Ren. He wants to be Darth Vader. He wants to, he literally just wants to be Darth Vader. And he's trying to take every path possible to do that without understanding what it is to be Darth Vader. And so that's the Kylo Ren story until
it's literally rehash.
It's not rehash.
He wants to be the villain of the original movies.
He wants to be, he wants to be. He's not the Darth Vader. He wants to be Darth Vader. There's a difference there. So, I mean, okay, how about this? Fan fiction, right? If you can still enjoy fan fiction, even though it's not the original.
I don't enjoy fan fiction.
But you can. People can enjoy fan fiction. And just because it's fan fiction doesn't mean it's bad.
Oh, I agree. I haven't found any fan fiction that I've actually enjoyed yet. One day I'm sure I will. But I love the original stories. Like for me, I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. I'm not super good at it. I'm trying to get better. But it's just the art of storytelling is fascinating to me because you're literally, taking somebody, I guess escapism or whatever, like you're taking somebody out of their situation and you're able to pull them into a whole new situation or a whole new world or whatever the point.
Mm-hmm.
And when, I don't know, when you're telling a story and the whole point of your story is to stand on the legs of the thing that came before you and you're hoping that it'll be as good, it just doesn't measure up 9 times out of 10.
Well,
because you're trying to emulate the original thing and you'll never be as good as emulating the original thing or imitating the original thing.
Can you put a poll up? I want to know how many people in your chat have watched Andor, the series, because I could agree with you to a certain extent, especially after Boba Fett and some of the. I mean, I like the Bad Batch. It's an animated thing, but it's a good storytelling. Actually, there's a really good moral lesson or moral question in the Bad Batch. So we have all these clones, right? We've created these clones. Now the war is over. What do we do with them? Are they people? Do they get citizenship? Do they have a right to a pension?
Was that in the last one?
No, this is the Bad Batch. And then also it's addressed a little bit in Obi-Wan.
I love that so much because that's the whole reason why I'm like, we can't ever do clones or robots or anything because someone is just going to give the command, execute order 52. They're going to execute the order and go start killing everybody.
All right.
And it's like, oh my God. Do you have a video, an ant video I can see?
Do you have an ant video that I could see? Christine, just check out, go to Fluxx's.
I was going to say, check
she
out
came over from my chat. I know she's been in Nicholas's chat and Baker's chat and stuff. So
check out my.
Yeah. She's got a lot of painting videos.
Yeah, I do painting and stuff. I don't put out a lot of videos. I try. I'm trying to get better at it, trying to manage my time better so that I can put up more content and get more paintings out. So yeah, check it out. I got a lot of time-lapse paintings because that's my favorite. I love to watch time-lapse paintings. And there was nothing on YouTube that I enjoyed watching, so I decided to just do it myself.
How many people voted already? Because it's like 92% no.
Yeah. Let's see the poll.
It was 12 votes. Okay. The reason why, votes. If you look at Boba Fett, horrible series. I love Boba Fett, and then it ruined it. But still, there's some parts to it that I like. And so, again, there's all Star Wars is good Star Wars at the end. It's still Star Wars, right? It's like sex and pizza. So,
no. Not all pizza is good pizza, and not all sex is good sex.
It's my sex God. And pizza in Star Wars.
No, oh my. We might need to have a whole other stream about a whole other different topic. No.
But, but I don't even know where I was going with. Oh, Andor. Andor redeemed itself, redeemed Disney Star Wars. For any of you who are like, I hate Disney Star Wars. Disney doesn't, or Star Wars. Disney Star Wars doesn't exist. It's not part of it. Check out Andor. If you like the original stories, A New Hope or Star Wars, it's not even A New Hope, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, watch Andor. I guarantee you will like Andor. And then Rogue One as well. If you haven't seen Rogue One, check out Rogue One. Rogue One is Disney. It was the first sort of off Skywalker story, a movie that came out. I would say watch those two things and then let me know if all Disney Star Wars is just trash and we should get rid of it. Because I don't think it is if you watch those two.
Like I said, the first season of Mando was amazing. I will say that's good Star Wars. The first season of Mando, and that is Disney.
Yeah.
So I can give you the first season of Mando's at the very least at this moment. So I can give that to you.
All right. I'll take that. I'll take that. But you got to watch Andor. You got to watch Rogue One.
Okay.
Did you watch Solo? Oh, you said you
No.
watched like the first few minutes of it.
Yeah, I watched whatever the first, yeah, about 20 minutes of Solo. There's
The
too many now. Like I said, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like it's way too saturated. How you're just going to keep going and going, and I get it, but at the same time, when you're putting out so much Star Wars content, it really gives us, the fans, the ability to scrutinize. Yeah, no, that seems like Star Wars. Yeah, no, that doesn't. Versus if you only had the original 6, it's like, that was forever awesome. It'll be forever awesome. And we can move on and make new stories.
that is a problem when you overexpand a universe or a
Mm-hmm.
canon in any way, shape, or form. I'd never read the books, that came out in the 80s and the 90s, but I'm sure there were some good ones and I'm sure there were some bad ones. And I know a lot of people don't like the Aftermath series. There's a book, there's three books in a series, Aftermath, and it takes place between essentially the original 3 movies and the most recent 3 movies. And it talks about the rise of the New Order and all that stuff, but and the rise of the Resistance as well. Uh, and I'm sure, I know there's people that don't like it. But again, at the end of the day, it's still Star Wars. It's still mom's apple pie. It's still coming home,
No,
to your
no,
childhood home. It's still Star Wars.
no. So far, we've got 21 votes, and 95% has said no, and only 5% has said yes. So that's like 4 people.
You guys got to watch it. Just check it out. Check out Andor. Check out Rogue One. And you will agree with me that not all Disney Star Wars is bad.
Mm.
No, it isn't. What's that?
No, it isn't. I
Uh,
agree. See, yeah, see, and that's the weirdest part, is that you're such a, well, okay, no, and this is where I'll give it to you. You are just a Star Wars fan. You just love all things Star
I love
Wars.
all things Star Wars. I love all things
So
Star.
I
Have you
get,
been? Have you been to Disney World or Disney World and Galaxy's Edge?
uh, no, okay, no, I have not been
Florida,
to
Orlando, Florida,
Disneyland in
Galaxy.
a while.
Not Disneyland, Disney World in Orlando.
No, I've never been to Disney World because I grew up in Southern California, and I literally grew up like 10 minutes away from the real Disneyland. Um so I've never been to the one in Florida.
The real Disneyland. The
Oh, the
was surrounded by
original, the
homeless
very
people.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh my god. It is so bad. It is so, but it was, I will restate, it was the first Disneyland, the original, where it first popped up. But
you get a
they
lot of.
just
Well, I mean, you just immerse yourself in it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
see, and that's, well, I was gonna say that's how I was for a while with Game of Thrones. Like I had everything Game of Thrones, and then they killed it. And
Okay, Captain, have fun. Galaxy's Edge is a S disaster. They're shutting down Star Cruiser. Star Cruiser has existed, sir, for like 20 years in Disney, and it's outside of Galaxy's Edge. It's an old ride. Yeah, they're shutting it down. Star Cruiser is gone. Star Cruiser
or
was like this. It was this ride in Disney World where you would get on as if you were going to a spaceship cruise liner. Like you
yeah,
have
that's
cruise liner.
yeah. We had that over. It was called Star Tours.
Yeah, and they changed it to Star Cruisers or Star Tour, but they changed it to a Star Wars theme
Oh,
maybe 10 years ago or so,
yeah.
and it's very dumb. But
See, that was always one of my favorite rides because you felt like you were getting into like a spaceship, and you were going from like, planet Earth to whatever other planet, and then you were getting attacked, or like you had to go through the asteroid field or whatever. And it's that 4D or whatever. So, you're inside the box, and it's like, moving you around and stuff. So you feel like you're in a spaceship. And that was always one of my favorite rides until I took Mrs. Flux there on our honeymoon, and we went on that ride because it was one of my favorites. And then I was so motion sick after the fact. We had to sit for like 2 hours, and I couldn't move. It was depressing.
that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the roller coasters at Universal Studios because they did the same thing to me, like bang my head around and make me sick.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate because like that was the moment I'm like, fuck.
You're just getting
I'm
old.
old.
That's all it is. Yeah, you're getting
Yeah.
old.
I'm like, shit, they don't warn you about the pain. They don't warn you about like the motion sickness and the vertigo. Others like, oh, you're going to lose your beauty and your boobs are going to sag. Okay, cool. Well, a warning about the pain would have been nice. Where you just wake up and you're like, ow, I can't move my neck. I
Right? You
just
roll
slept.
over and sprain something.
Yep.
Yeah, getting old sucks. I don't know how old you are, but I feel like we're the same age, approximately.
I I am about to I'm turning 32.
Oh no, you're younger than me. Wow, you're like 10 years younger than me.
Yeah, how old
You're
are
an
you?
old soul.
I
I'm
am.
yeah, I'm
I've
43.
always been old though, but I think it's because I was homeschooled.
Oh,
I
you're a
was home.
homeschool child.
Yep, homeschooled K through or first through 12,
That's
and
definitely why you're more mature than your years.
not only that is the army adds like 5 years to your life every year that you're in, so I'm actually like 80.
Well, yeah, I haven't been in the military, but I can imagine it would. Oh, apparently I got it wrong. They're talking about the hotel, the Star Wars hotel that they set up. They just opened that. They're closing it down.
There's a Star Wars hotel.
Yeah, it was this all immersive thing. My son and I were going to go,
I gotta
and
look this
apparently they're
up.
shutting it down.
Why would you shut? That seems like a fantastic idea.
I mean, it looked amazing to me. We've been waiting for it to open, and so we could. And I know it's been open for a little bit, and we were going to go we're going to check it out this winter. Actually, like this February, we were going to head down.
That
Shut down
seems
because it was
cool.
terrible. Okay, all right. Well, it got shut down because it's terrible. It's kind of a blanket statement. It's shut.
That's
It's kind of a
sad.
blanket statement. Why is it actually being shut down? So
I mean,
after
it can't
18
just
months in operation.
because it's a whole ass 2 nights was $6,000.
Oh yeah, that's probably why it got shut down because it was too pricey and people weren't buying the tickets, or going there and staying there. So that's
See,
probably
and
why it
that's
got shut down.
why it wasn't
Not because
based on
it's oh
because it's
yeah
not based on the original movies. That's why it sucked, and that's why it's eating poo poo
maybe
because it was not. It was not the yeah. You need the original characters. You need Solo. You need Leia. You need Luke. That's Star Wars to me. What Star Wars is Luke, Leia, Vader, Obi-Wan. Yeah.
I Star Wars to me is the universe is the that universe, that canon that exists,
Mm-hmm.
and all the players have a role to play in it. There's some decent ones and there's some bad ones, and there's some really really good ones like Luke and Leia and all that. But go back and watch A New Hope, and look at the dialogue. I don't want to trash the original, but look at the dialogue. Some of it
Mm-hmm.
um, is really bad. Like Luke is, but I wanted to go into the spaceport and hang out with my buddies. He's
Oh
just kind
yeah,
of
he's
whiny.
such a whiny little bitch at first.
And
And
then,
that's yeah. And then he
oh,
kind of sucks it up a little bit.
you told me, Darth Vader killed my father. Well, he did from a certain point of view. It's just, it's just, it's just, some of it's really bad, people. Honestly, look at the original. If you are a diehard fan of it, look at some of the original stuff and tell me that it's not really bad at times.
See, this is another thing I wanted to point out about. This is another reason why I dislike the new movies so much. Is because it's not only about, the story being a remake or whatever. The movies are poorly done. Like the choreography isn't great in fight scenes. Uh the costume design, I mean, it
Okay, can
doesn't
I talk about the
particularly.
choreo, the lightsaber duels?
Yes.
Watch the original, and you got old Obi-Wan and old Vader, and they're just like, and it's nothing special. you then see the prequels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're flipping over and doing all this stuff, and then we go to then the three most recent movies, the sequel trilogy, and they're sloppy,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not just standing there, but they're sloppy. They haven't had anyone trained in a lightsaber training them for an entire generation, right?
Yeah, but I feel like sword skills are kind of like
Now, lightsaber dueling has a particular style. It's not
mm,
like real world sword fighting or
yeah.
jousting or anything like that. It has its own style. And if you
Mm-hmm.
look at at the height of the Jedi, when everyone's training everybody, they have they're all fairly good. Even the Padawans are fairly good because they've been training with it. Luke literally had nobody to train him but Yoda for a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. So he's a little unsteady. He's only fought a little guy, and Obi-Wan and Vader are old at this time. They're in their 60s, 70s, whatever at
Mm-hmm.
this time, so they're a little old and slow. And then there's literally nobody. I mean, so uh, other people are out there, I guess, running around a little bit, but really nobody's training anybody. So is it any wonder that you know Kylo Ren is probably not that good with a lightsaber? He really doesn't have any training except for maybe with a droid.
Uh the lightsaber change I'm talking about is during the live show. She ignites one that lights up in the movie and then bends down and picks up a fighting saber.
Okay, so that's an editing thing. All right, so that's what they're talking about. Apparently, they do
Well, yeah, and that it comes down to it's sloppy movie making, and it's like it's a problem. That's a problem I've seen across every field, every profession since 2020. The quality of everything has gone downhill drastically. The quality of police training, the quality of medical training, the quality of filmmaking, everything has since 2020. I was just talking to a coworker today about it. I've seen a shift, and it's a shift in um I don't know, people don't want to put in the work anymore. They
well, that's
only want to
across
give,
the board. Yeah.
and that's across the entire board in every profession since 2020. And that was the major shift that I saw. Everybody stopped, and then nobody could get going anymore. And it's a problem I've seen. I mean, we saw in Game of Thrones, there was a literal cup left in the fucking TV, a
There was a, there was a
Starbucks cup.
there was an extra standing in the Prison Break episode on Mandalorian. There's an extra in the background, just kind of standing there, and like you can see like his shoulder and stuff.
And it's like it's moments like these where it's sloppy moments in editing, it's sloppy moments in filmmaking. They're not trying hard, and it shows.
Yes. No, I
And
agree. It shows across the board. It shows in just like TV shows and everything. Everyone's getting a little sloppy, and to the point where when people put in the effort, it really shows when they put in the
mm-hmm,
effort. Like if you look at well, you haven't seen Ted Lasso. What Ted Lasso is like a labor of love for the people behind it,
mm-hmm,
and it shines, and it's a breath of fresh air,
mm-hmm.
and it shouldn't be that way. Kind of all shows should kind of have that
Yeah.
level of
All
commitment.
and when it boils down to it, and this is what I don't mind race swapping so much, like for fictional characters. But if it's an established character, that's when it's like you're pulling me out of the story because this is a well established character, and now I can't identify this character because we've changed it. Like for The Little Mermaid, I didn't care so much. It's a fictional story. It's the ocean. I don't care. Cleopatra, not so much because she was kind of like,
A real person
a real person.
that
You
existed
can't
in
race
history.
swap that. And like with The Witcher, they race swapped a few of the characters, and I don't care because it doesn't pull me out of the story. Because if the actor is doing a good enough job and the story is written well enough and the whole overarching film is done well, I don't, and it doesn't pull me out of the story, I don't give a shit about a race swap. None whatsoever. But don't pull me out of my story and don't pull me out of my escapism.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I just don't see a lot of it in Star Wars. I do see some off characters, some side characters, certain episodes or movies that are definitely that. Um, but I don't, and then they don't know what to do with them
Or
because they stuck them here for a quota essentially, and then they don't know what to do with them. So I get that, but it's not. I don't know.
see,
I
and
don't
that's just how I see. That's how I see Rey. I see her as a gender swapped, you know, Luke Skywalker.
see the fact that you say if it was what I say,
Something like that.
Rob instead of Ray, and you would like it better.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know that I would like it. I might like it better, but again, I still feel like it's just a remake of the old ones, but they don't want to call it a remake, so they pretend it's different and they add in a girl character for
It's not as
reasons.
blatant as the all-female Ghostbusters. That was
No, that
100%.
was bad.
That was like, if shall we have an example of where we're going to swap genders literally just for the sake of swapping genders and making some sort of social statement that women can do it too, guys?
Well, same with
Ghostbusters, the
Ocean's
all-female.
8
Oh, I didn't even
or
watch that one.
whichever. Like, it had a couple really good actresses in it and it had a couple funny moments, but it's like, this is a movie literally just to make a girl version. Why are we doing this?
Pineapple's in here just to troll me. I know it. Ray is not a Mary Sue.
Where
Kaiser Pineapple.
Kaiser? Yeah, no, he's right. He's right. Ray's a Mary Sue.
She is not a Mary Sue. She has her faults. She is not flawless. This flawless being that could do no wrong.
But see, and in today's world, like, they make the female have just enough flaws or just that one thing that's like, oh, I struggled too. And then everything else.
I was just looking at the chat. But even if she is a Mary Sue, okay, let's assume she's a Mary Sue. Let's assume it's purely pandering, right?
Really quick, I'm going to end the poll. 30 votes. 13% said yes to watching Andor and 87 said no.
Okay. Of the 13% that watched, is it good? I think it's good. I think Disney Star Wars redeemed itself with Andor. Absolutely.
I'm putting up a new poll.
But let's assume Rey is Mary Sue, or is a Mary Sue rather. Let's assume they're pandering. It's still Star Wars. It's still, I mean, we got Darth Vader's crushed, burnt helmet. We've got Leia. We've got Luke. Even if he's a bad Luke, we got Luke. Freaking Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon are back. It's still Star Wars.
See, and
still get the goosebumps.
I will, like, the reason I will rewatch the new Star Wars is for Carrie Fisher and for Harrison Ford, but mostly for Carrie Fisher because she was an OG. She was amazing, and I loved her.
Would you?
And I really loved her mother, and I love her daughter as an actress too. You know, her daughter is an actress too, right?
Yeah, she was actually in.
She was in one of them with Carrie, I think.
Yes, I believe she might have also been in. I might be wrong. I don't know if she was in Rogue One, but she was definitely in a couple of them with Carrie Fisher.
I think that's kind of cool that she was able to act in a movie with her mom because I Exactly. Yes, Billy Lord. I did not know Billy Lord was her daughter. I watched Scream Queens and everything, and I just love Billy Lord as an actor because she's that monotone actor, or at least in those shows, and she did just such a good job at like being, I don't know. She's a great actress. And then I found out that she was uh uh Carrie Fisher's daughter. And I'm like, that's why she's awesome. And then to top it all off, uh Debbie Reynolds is the grandmother slash mother. So that was a talented as hell family.
But see, so Bobby Bologna says, I wanted Leia to be a Jedi, and they made her ridiculous. Okay, so I think this is the problem that a lot of people my age or older had a problem with the prequels, and people maybe your age, Flux, and others that are younger had a problem with the sequel trilogy. Is that they expected a certain thing, and they didn't get that certain thing, and therefore they don't like it. Like a lot of people hated the idea of midi-chlorians. Do you even care about midi-chlorians?
No,
Do you
but
know?
yeah, okay, I don't care. I
But
don't
people
care.
my age were like, "What the fuck is this midi-chlorian thing?" No, it's the Force. It's what is this like? We got is it like a DNA? Is it like what the hell is this midi-chlorian count thing? People were upset about that and thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Or Jar
Yeah.
Jar Binks. Absolutely hated Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, I mean, yeah, again, worst character, so annoying, terrible as shit. But again,
Let's see. My stepson is 28. Absolutely loves Jar Jar Binks. Everyone like that age and younger, they love Jar Jar Binks for some reason because that's
it's
their original Star Wars, right?
well, it's not that it's our original Star Wars. It's just that for me, he's he's just one of those over the top, ridiculous. This is so overdone. It did not need to be this way. This is bad, but that's what makes it good.
But my point is if you go in with expectations and think, "Oh, I want to see this happen. This has to happen." Like, okay, let's take The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Luke thing is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
If not Poe, what's the black guy, the uh stormtrooper that turned I can't remember his name. Anyways, he goes to Canto Bight. He goes to the casino, right, to find
Mm-hmm.
some master thief thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why did that have to be anyone other than Lando Calrissian? If he had found Lando Calrissian, that would have bing amazing,
Finn.
right?
His name was Finn.
Finn, yes, thank you. If he had
Or
found Lando
Tolkien,
Calrissian,
whichever one.
I'm gonna go with Finn. Uh, if he had found Lando Calrissian on
Mm-hmm.
Canto Bites, that would have been absolutely amazing, and I would have loved it. And I think they should have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And but just because I think that should have happened, and I'm definitely not working on a fan fiction version where it is Lando Calrissian, uh,
Hmm.
doesn't mean that it's a horrible film. I mean, it's a bad film, but doesn't mean that it must have been Lando Calrissian that they found, and otherwise nothing makes any sense, and this whole thing needs to blow up. I think that's the problem is expectations of people.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's when you have an established universe, you have an established storyline, and then you go in and start, changing up how the universe already was established. That's when people get, I think, really heated. And the fact that, you know, Ray didn't have to train for any of it. That's not how the Force works. That's not how the Force. You have to train. You have to work hard. You have to develop your
Why is that not
skills.
how the Force works? Have we
Because
seen any other person train with
Luke
that level of
Skywalker.
Force ability? With that level, Luke didn't have that level. She
But
was more
that's the
powerful than
thing.
Luke.
That's the thing is up until that point, like that's not what that's not what the universe was. The universe, if you're looking at the original 3 or the next 3, is that you had to train to become a Jedi. You had to work at it. You didn't just have your powers. You had to work, you had to go train from a young age. Like you had to develop these skills to like essentially get rid of your emotion. As a Jedi, you were supposed to like completely be in control of your emotion and like have this balance. And that takes a lot of meditation, a lot of work, a lot of stuff. And
But that is a very narrow sliver of the Force within the universe. Because if you look at the expanded universe, you see that the Jedi aren't the only Force wielders. The Jedi is kind of cultish a bit. They recruit children at a
100%.
young age. Do they have the highest of midichlorian counts? Are they the strongest with the Force? Or are they just trying to recruit anybody that they can that has a minimum standard?
100%. Yeah.
Right? And so we're not talking about the highest level of Force users when we're talking about the Padawans at the Jedi Temple that are training. So they need more training.
But that's all we know, because that's what the story has given us, is that they have to go to the academy.
In the movies, yes, but not in the expanded universe. And so that's why I disagree. We're talking about the expanded.
All Star Wars is not Star Wars.
The other thing too is, right, so how many times did Luke Skywalker move something with the Force in A New Hope?
I don't think any times.
Right. It wasn't until Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, the Force allows you to move things from across the room that never existed before in Empire Strikes Back. So when could Force users throw lightning with their fingers?
I think that's in the first one when the when the Emperor is lightning people all the time.
But that's not in the first one. That's in the third movie. So each movie subsequently got these new Force powers that didn't exist in the prior ones.
No, I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to fact check you on that, because I see what you're saying now, and I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan used the Force to move stuff in the first New Hope.
No, he did the mind thing in the first. He didn't do anything. He didn't move anything.
I'm pretty sure
he even had to walk to the power switches things and manually turned them off. Where
That's
in
fair.
prequels, he would have just like hang around from the corner and done like a little Force thing and made it move.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
So they're always adding new things. Like you don't really see super speed until the prequels. Until
super speed?
Like when they can run really fast. Until Phantom Menace. If you see,
they can run really fast.
Oh, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan get like 200 feet down a hallway like that. If you watch when they first enter the spaceship, like right in the opening scenes.
Okay.
When they're first in there, they have like super speed.
Man, I rewatched these like, I don't know, maybe a year, not even too long ago, not even a year ago, and there's just so much. God,
there is a lot, but every time they give a new Force power, it's not breaking the laws of the universe, it's just expanding upon it. And so I don't have a problem with someone who's not trained. Well, first of all, she's got some combat skills, right? She's using a bow staff, so she got some combat skills. Mm-hmm. But not trained in the Force, but really strong in the Force, being able to accidentally sort of stumble into some abilities. I have no problem with that.
I mean, well, especially because we see, if we go back to the Phantom Menace, we see Anakin, he's all full of the Force, but he can't control anything yet. He's still got to go like take his trainings and stuff. But he's fucking Darth Vader.
You could say that, but in that very episode, he's also flying a spaceship, shooting at droids and killing them and not dying. So what other 9-year-old or 8-year-old or however old he is?
But that's what I'm saying. Like the Force is strong with him. Mm-hmm. But he still had to go to the academy and train with Jedis and everything to get good at his powers.
No, he had to go to the academy to train with the Jedi so that he could be indoctrinated into their cult.
I like that. I like that better. Oh, right? I hate to cut
this short. As I sit here in Jedi robes.
Right? I hate to cut this short, but I do have to wrap it up soon.
No worries. No worries. I'm here. It's your show. I think
we should definitely do a sequel to this.
Definitely.
I
I
think
think we need to do it after you and I sit down and watch Rogue One.
yes, I think that'll be good. So I will watch Rogue One probably within this next week. And then I feel like I should rewatch all of the movies and real quick because I have them all. I have them
Oh
all
yeah,
on Blu-ray. Oh
I have.
yeah,
I got the
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray set.
I
I still
got
got
the
my.
Blu-ray set. I don't just have the DVDs. I got the Blu-ray.
I
Oh my
have
gosh.
VHS. Beat that.
Holy shit. Man, I don't have I think all the VHSs I ever had are still at my parents' house. Like I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't think I have any VHSs anymore. Wolfram with a $10 super chat, Dave, saying it is still Star Wars is like saying it is still the Republican Party if all the Democrats switched over to Republicans. Beautiful.
Well, haven't they
Beautiful.
already? Haven't they
I
already?
guess that's fair. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Wolfram. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's awesome.
Team Nana?
But
No, I'm sorry. I wanted to respond. I wish I had the freaking originals before all the
before the fucking digital edits?
I hate.
Are you
not,
fucking kidding me?
Num Num needs to be back in there, and Hayden Christensen should not appear as a Force ghost. I'm sorry, he should not appear as a Force ghost at the last scene there of Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
Those are the two biggest tragedies.
It's like going back to the Mona Lisa and like adding I just need to put in a little extra highlight. I just need to put a highlight here because it would just make it look a little better and be just a little more modern. Oh, Starry Night. Oh, I just got to add 2 little strokes here. Don't worry, it's not going to change it. I'm just adding 2. Are you fucking kidding me? They did that. Oh my god, that's a trigger point for me. Yes, because you don't change art,
and you can't get them. You can't get them anywhere.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure my Blu-ray set is untouched digitally. Like I think it's the original without Hayden Christensen added in. I'm like,
did they release those? When did you get it?
They're Mrs. Flux's. She had them before she met me. So
I am going on Amazon.
Because I have to re-look because I haven't watched them in it. Like I said, it's been about a year, but because that was one of the biggest like mind fucks. Like, are you kidding? How did anybody okay that? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. That was absolutely horrible.
That
okay, let's just think of it logically. Luke doesn't know 20-year-old Hayden Christensen as his father.
Right?
So why would that be what he sees? Why would that be what you project?
How would you identify that as Vader? Because Luke Skywalker doesn't know Anakin Skywalker. Luke Skywalker knows old, broken, crusty, white Vader. So why would he be like, oh, this is my dad, my age. Cool.
It'd be so weird, right?
Right? And on that note, I will watch Rogue One and I will plan a date that we can discuss Rogue One because there's still more that needs to be said.
I want to see what you think about Rogue One.
Thanks for coming on with me tonight. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Thanks for having me and entertaining me.
Oh, absolutely. You entertain me like all day, every day. So it's the least I could do. But tell people where they can find you at.
Oh, yes.
I mean, most MLS, of them.
When I'm not dressed in Star Wars robes, I am MLS Law Show. And I'm a licensed practicing attorney, and I have my YouTube channel where we stream a lot of live trials as well as other legal commentary. So check it out.
It fell. It lasted the entire show.
The entire time. We should have ended it like 10 minutes ago.
Right? That's how you know it's time. That's how you know it's time.
That's
But
the thing.
sorry.
No.
Sorry.
You're fine. Yeah. So check me out. MLS. There we go. MLS Law Show.
And yeah, guys, go check him out. Give him a sub if you haven't. I am normally hanging out in his chat. Typically, well, pretty much once Jeff finishes, we go switch over to your show, and then we watch all the trials and we judge all the lawyers with the terrible hair, and it is
God,
awesome.
they all look like used tennis balls.
God, it's see, and it's that lowered standard across the board, and we see it right there in the trial.
It is. Yeah. Nobody cares anymore. They're all used to
Yeah.
Zoom videos. They're like, oh, I gotta put pants on today.
Right. All right, guys. Well, catch me on Saturday. I'll be doing my Minecraft stream. I am going to be on Jeff's birthday stream tomorrow after I get off work because oh my god,
What time does the stream start?
His stream starts at 9 a.m.
Oh, he's going all day.
See, but that's the thing. Back when he first started Fuck It Friday, and back when he first started like doing these long, he used to start at 9 a.m. and he would go all day, and then I would join him after I got home from work. And then it got kind of too crazy with like people who were pretty much on the East Coast wanting to or on the West Coast wanting to come in, and so he just switched it to the night because he couldn't go all day and all night.
He's getting older, you know, it happens.
Oh, I don't know how he drinks that much. I would die.
I would die. You've seen me on my stream that one time, and I could never. You know,
oh my god,
I don't drink.
That was like you were like the best drunk though, because you're not super sloppy. You're not really sloppy at all. Your words get a little runny, not even bad, but you get like super like giddy. That's how I describe it, is giddy, because it's not like all just like happy. You get giddy, and it's fun. That was a fun one.
Drunk. I'm a fun drunk. And then I did notice, I did watch a little bit of it, and I can tell like when I'm trying to like, okay, they just said something. I want to be like super serious. And I'm still commenting on the freaking trial and what the witness is saying and what this means. And that was a rough one.
No, you did good. You did good. And for those of you who did watch the Minecraft stream on Saturday, Jeff is not dead. So no, I saved Jeff. So
I almost tweeted at you, and then I was like, oh my god, if
I could not cope.
Someone's going to think Vices is dead, so I'm not going to tweet at it.
Right? Oh, that's probably a good thing. That's probably, but no, apparently, I don't know, what was it, Monday? Apparently chat was telling Jeff that I murdered him. And I'm like, no, he fell off of a cliff, but it's okay because with Minecraft, like, you have to be careful with corruption and stuff. So we always have multiple saves of our worlds. So with this world, this backup was from like 2 weeks ago. So we've reset. We've gone back 2 weeks to this old save 2 weeks ago. And so I have Jeff again. And we're just going to play from the save. And we lost this 2 weeks of like status and progress, but we're just going to redo it because I wanted Jeff back.
What about my monument?
Oh, fuck.
You got to rebuild my monument then.
I'll have to go back and look at because I'm pretty sure I'll need to redo Jamie's. I'll need to add a couple to Fondin's. I'll have to add to, I'm going to have to recalculate, but it's worth it because I'm not fucking losing. I'm not going to lose Jeff. Jeff is going to live, and yeah. I will
it's
put in
that
sacrifice
work. Some more work. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's definite. What are we? Yep. They're playing. What am I playing? I don't know. But no, I'm not. Oh, yep.
Oh, do you have like an animal named like every character in chat or like?
No, but I have. See, and that's the thing. I'm gonna start naming my animals, and we're gonna start naming villagers. And I think I'm gonna do that via super chats, like a $10 super chat, and you can name a village slave or something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That'd be cool.
But
Said it. You can
got
get your name out there.
right, right. Not only do you have a monument, but you can get your name on a bill or whatever name you want. I just have to make sure Mrs. Flex is cool with it, and yeah. But guys, go check Dave out. If you like this conversation, even though Dave is wrong, hit that like button. The OG3 will always be the best 3, no matter what, hands down. And all Star Wars is not Star Wars.
Star Wars is good.
We will pick up this conversation again soon, guys. I'll watch Rogue One, and then we'll come back next time. I gotta sit like this, so it's only this side. But I'll get a little more educated in the Rogue One situation, and then we can have a proper debate. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Thank you to you super chatters and for the gifted memberships and just everybody for hanging out. I appreciate it. Replay crew, you guys are always awesome. I love my replay crew. And yeah, be excellent to each other, guys. Have a great rest of your week.
Have a good one.